That residents of the Brentwood community in Suffolk County are living under every day. That's since the bodies of several teens were either dumped openly or their remains found after an intense police search. TV 1055's Jennifer McLogan says police are targeting known gang members.
Chopper 2 circled over American Boulevard in Brentwood, where a 34-year-old male resident was discovered on the pavement with fatal injuries to his head and face. The community's already unnerved by unsolved gang-affiliated deaths and worried this could be another. Homeowner Hyman Fiddler.
Why then my son come down and call us to say it seemed like something wrong. Police out the road.
Amid mail deliveries, children's bicycles, and surveillance cameras, police went door to door seeking information near local churches, schools, and convents.
I just came out my house this morning and I seen cops on both ends of American Boulevard, and somebody told us that they just found a body.
High school senior Michael Brown, headed to college, says he has hopes and dreams for peace.
We can't do it with this one person. We have to come together as a community and try to end this.
Brentwood has been gripped by fear after two best friend girls, 15 and 16, victims of a brutal attack, and two young boys, 15 and 19, were all discovered murdered here. No one has been charged in the cases. Luis Almonte is a high school senior. What's the atmosphere in school right now?
A lot of people are worried to even walk to school sometimes.
Taking advice from the superintendent about the gang colors?
Of course. Trying to wear less colors affiliated with that activity.
Now, in total, police have linked 6 murders to the suspected gang activity. Joining us now are 2 members of the grassroots community activist group Uplift Brentwood, Marcos Maldonado and Miguel Terrell. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you.
First off, explain what it's been like in your community following these brutal killings.
You know, our community has really been looking at itself in the mirror in the past, over the past couple of weeks. We've been shocked at what has happened, but we've also started to become reflective and trying to understand how we can wrap our arms and wrap our minds around the issues that are affecting our children in the community, really affecting all of us.
I think, Miguel, people are shocked when they hear families say they're afraid to even open their door.
Well, yeah, definitely, that's a problem. And we have a community that's completely in fear of the gangs and the gang activity that's going on, and obviously with the killings.
Police have not revealed any details on how these young folks were murdered. Have you heard anything in those terms? Because people are wanting to know that.
Yeah, and so are we. You know, what I'll say is that what we've heard has been a lot of interviews of gang members who are in their custody, you know, that are already in police custody, or people that they have as potential witnesses. But in terms of concrete, here are arrests for these specific incidences, we haven't heard anything.
Have you seen extra police patrols?
Definitely. They've been around schools, they've been around more, they've been actually involved a lot with the community, back and forth, and they've been helping out a lot. So you can notice it now, but it's, you know,
after the fact for those folks. But the police are saying that crime has plummeted compared to last year since they stepped up these patrols.
You know, one of the things that I think is important is that, yeah, there are a lot of other crimes that do happen in a community, in any community. But what we're really concerned with are the number of murders that are taking part in the community, or if Brentwood is being used as a specific place to, unfortunately, carry out these heinous acts. You know, we want to make sure that we get to the bottom of those incidences like everyone else.
Yeah, because, you know, police suspect the 1 or 2 of the victims may have been somehow linked to the gangs, or maybe, in one case, maybe a member, but the rest were not.
Well, and I'm sure Miguel would agree here, that's the saddest part. You know, if we're talking about young kids, 14, 15 years old, and they're unfortunately have chosen that way of life, we have to get behind the root causes of that. Any child at that age that is gang involved is something that we as a society really have to look at ourselves at.
Well, what do you do, Miguel, in terms of trying to intervene and prevent young people from getting into the gangs?
Well, we have to, like, set up programs. There's a lot of programs already set up for that, but some of them either not run properly, or some of them, you know, they died down. People don't join. There's not enough access. There's a lot of problems with the language barrier in that community too, because there's a lot of Hispanic families. People don't speak the language, and we got to do a better job disseminating information, basically, to get these kids involved.
Yeah, and you know, you wonder, they've been trying to do this for some time. The lore of the gangs is strong, right? How do you counteract that? Because most of it, it's fear and intimidation, I would think, that they pressure them to join.
Sure, you need programming and you need mentorship. You know, it's funny. I learned while I was an employee with another nonprofit that gangs, unfortunately, make great mentors to young children who are looking for someone that they can trust.
That's what they say. They say, we'll take care of you. We're your family.
Right, we're your family. And unfortunately, because so many of our families are traveling far for work and having to make ends meet, you know, there's a loss of authoritative role models during the after-school hours.
No question about that, but that's affected every segment of society. You know, Miguel, the police say they're going to install cameras around the community at major intersections. Have you seen any of them yet?
Well, they haven't, because they're still working out the details, so they haven't installed anything yet.
Yeah, and they say they're not going to say where they're placed.
They haven't finalized anything. We were actually at the meeting, the community Suffolk County 3rd Precinct meeting the other day, and they told us that they can't really release any information because they haven't even figured out the whole plan yet, which makes sense.
What do you think about that? You know, normally when, in the past years, people say, oh, my privacy, you know, what are you doing here?
Well, I think if as a community, over the past 13 years, if we've taken more proactive steps, we might not be in this position that we are today. And that's where we have to really look at ourselves as a community and how we can get behind the right types of programs and making sure that we don't have any potential invasions of privacy or anything, you know, or any of those resultants because of the situations that happen.
And the police are assuring the community that it will only be used if there's suspected criminal activity. There won't be data mining. They won't be looking to see if people have past violations, they say. You trust that?
Well, as long as there's internal controls, or maybe like a committee of auditing that come from the outside to make sure that they're not using that information otherwise. Listen, as long as you're doing the right thing and you have your papers legit with on your car and everything, you shouldn't really be worried about that.
Yeah. If you've done nothing wrong, you have nothing to fear, is what they always say. What are people doing to protect themselves in the community?
I think you see a lot of surveillance cameras. You know, you see a lot of people making sure that their doors are closed and locked, lights are on so they can see outside, you know, and you just see more of a general awareness of one's surroundings. There are a lot of Facebook groups where people are posting incidents that happen in the community so that there's general more awareness.
Is there a positive that perhaps it's drawn the community together at all? Are you seeing that? People who would maybe not be talking to their neighbors now getting to know them?
Definitely. Yeah, there's some community watch groups that are forming, but we have to do more. We have to, like, you know, get more people involved because we get powered by numbers. So the more people we have involved, the more we can do.
Well, there's an active federal investigation going on. They're going to use the RICO statute, they say, to go after the gang leaders. And as you know, that's ongoing, and hopefully they will produce some results there so that we don't have to be talking about this again anytime soon. Marcos Maldonado, Miguel Terrell, members of the group Uplift Brentwood, thank you for coming in and talking about this. I know it's difficult. We, of course, here will do all we can in terms of trying to help you out, in terms of focusing attention. That's about as much as we're able to do, but because we want to see a sense of safety brought to your streets. We're with you. Oh,
well, thank you. And anyone who's interested in what we may have, in what we're doing with Uplift Brentwood is free to check us out on Facebook. Uplift Brentwood.
Very good. Uplift Brentwood. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And still.